Hey guys, Sean here and welcome to the F1 Word. Now the 2023 F1 season is getting closer and pre-season is just around the corner. So as I've done over the last couple of years, I'm going to give you all the launch and testing dates, pick out some key dates on the calendar and let you know some of the things that have changed for 2023. One of those everything you need to know types of videos, kind of. Let's kick things off though with those launch dates because they are starting sooner than perhaps some of you might have expected. So Haas will show off their new livery on Tuesday, 31st of January. If you're watching this as this video goes out, that's this coming Tuesday. It's been a while since we've seen a launch that early, and as tends to be tradition, they'll reveal their full, proper, real, actual car in Bahrain ahead of testing. Red Bull are doing a season launch on Friday, February 3rd in New York. Fancy, but it's unlikely we'll see their proper 2023 challenger before that test at Sakir. On Monday, February 6th, Williams will be pulling the covers off their car and it'll be Alfa Romeo's turn the following day. That's Tuesday, February 7th, as they show us the final Sauber car to carry the Alfa name before the brand leaves at the end of the season. Hopefully they'll do it justice. Last year's was stunning. I feel like that was a very underrated or underappreciated livery. AlphaTauri, just like Red Bull, are in New York, but on Saturday, February 11th. Now, this has been billed as several things, including a car launch and a season launch, but when they announced the date, they used the hashtag livery launch across socials, and some are now reporting that that is the case. It is just a livery launch, although most of these will basically be livery launches, and we won't see most of the full complete cars until testing at the earliest. Aston Martin and McLaren are both launching their seasons on Monday, February 13th, and interestingly enough, Aston have said that they will be showing off their real 2023 car. So if that does happen, it'll be fascinating to see just how much that car changes from what we see on the 13th versus testing, and then testing versus the first race. Ferrari are launching on Valentine's Day this year. That's Tuesday, February 14th, obviously. And I want to throw in a super early prediction for this one. Brace yourself. I'll bet it's going to be predominantly red. Sorry, Rosso Corsa. And you know what? Given the accuracy of my predictions, this will probably be the year they launch a yellow one. But anyway. Mercedes are getting their 2023 underway by launching the W14E Performance on Wednesday, February 15th. As is usually the case now, it will be a digital launch, and according to the Mercedes website, it currently looks like a car launch and not just a livery launch. However, disclaimer, if you cast your mind back 12 months, the car they launched and ran in the shakedown was very different to the one they raced, so yeah. And last but by no means least, Alpine are launching their season on Thursday, February 16th, as we get our first look at the A523, or at the very least, the livery the team will be running this coming season. Look, I've touched on it a couple of times already, and I'll say it again, and you're going to hear it a lot over the next few weeks. Many of the teams will likely slap a livery on some renders of either last year's car or a very early version of this year's car, and those who do give us an actual, real, proper 2023 car to have a look at, it's not going to be the final car we see at the first race of the season. That said, even if they're not final, and even if they are just livery launches, I still get so excited about this time of year. With launches and testing, it's like a 3-week Christmas Eve for F1 fans. I love it. This year, there will be just the one pre-season test, so none of that pre-season testing but not testing shakedown business we had last year. Instead, teams will take to the track in Bahrain from Thursday, February 23rd until Saturday, February 25th, so that's just 3 days of testing ahead of the new season. Each day's session will start at 7 a.m. GMT and run through until 4:30 p.m. Again, that's UK time. And assuming I can get some guests to join me, yes, I will be live for testing again this year before you ask. Like I give up the testing streams, are one of my favourite things to do, just waffle for hours on end. And it is lights out for the season proper on Sunday, March 5th in Bahrain, and perhaps unsurprisingly, I can't bloody wait for it. I'll just point out a few key dates on the calendar for you quickly. There will be a 4-week spring break, if you like, between the Australian and Azerbaijan Grand Prix, because F1 has confirmed that the Chinese Grand Prix will not be reinstated and will not be replaced. That means the record-breaking 24-race season is now just a record-breaking 23-race season, with 6 sprints spread out across the year as well. The first of those sprints will take place at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which is across the weekend of April 28th to 30th, and will be followed by events in Austria, Belgium, Qatar, the United States, more specifically Austin, and the last one will take place in Brazil. As already mentioned, we are effectively getting a spring break this year due to the missing race at Shanghai, although it doesn't look as though there will be any kind of shutdown like we see during the summer, just no F1 racing. The summer break takes place after the Belgian Grand Prix this year, which has been moved forward with the racing returning at Zandvoort on August 27th. Qatar returns to the calendar full-time on October 8th at the Lusail International Circuit, or the Lusail International Circuit, or the Losail International Circuit, but you know what I mean. And the highly advertised and hotly anticipated by many Las Vegas Grand Prix makes its debut at the, obviously, Las Vegas Street Circuit on November 18th, and will be the penultimate race of the year, back-to-back with Abu Dhabi. Now, there are a number of driver changes to note ahead of the new season. Pierre Gasly has made the switch from AlphaTauri to Alpine to replace Fernando Alonso, who has moved to Aston Martin in place of the now retired Sebastian Vettel. Nico Hülkenberg has taken Mick Schumacher's old seat at Haas as he prepares for his first full season in a race seat since 2019. We've also got 3 rookies making their full-time debuts this year. First up, we've got Oscar Piastri, who will be teaming up with Lando Norris at McLaren after the team won its, let's say, battle with Alpine over the Aussie signature last summer. What a drama that all was. Nick De Vries will replace Pierre Gasly at AlphaTauri and partners Yuki Tsunoda. Really looking forward to seeing how that lineup goes. And Alex Albon will be joined at Williams by Logan Sargent this season, who replaces the outgoing Nicholas Latifi. There hasn't just been a shake-up in the driver market, though, as team bosses have also been on the move. In case you missed it, during the winter, Mattia Binotto is no longer at Ferrari and his place has been taken by Frederic Vasseur, who has, therefore, obviously, now left the Alfa Romeo team. He's not going to do both jobs, Sean, come on. Alessandro Aluni-Bravi has been made managing director at Sauber, and although the team won't have a team principal in name this year, Aluni-Bravi will take on many of the responsibilities a team boss would usually have, with Sauber confirming that he will represent the team in all official functions at race weekends and away from the track. Andreas Seidel has left McLaren to take on the role of CEO of the Sauber Group, with Andrea Stella taking his place at McLaren. And Jos Capito has also left Williams over the winter and has been replaced by, rather surprisingly at the time, now former head of strategy at Mercedes, James Vowles. I think that's going to be a great appointment for Williams. Those are then some of the dates and some information to remember for 2023, but there have also been some changes to the regulations, and we're getting a trial of some qualifying tweaks as well. More on that in a moment. Here are some of the bigger changes though. So the floors on the cars this year have been raised by 15mm to prevent teams running their cars too low to the ground, which is aimed at reducing the amount of vertical oscillations, which, as I'm sure you remember, raised safety concerns last season. That will come with tighter stress testing and a reduction of aero sensitivity underneath the car, which will be achieved thanks to the diffuser throat height being raised. Cars will also run a mandated sensor to monitor porpoising more effectively. The top of the roll hoop must now be rounded to reduce the risk of it digging into the ground. Homologation tests have also changed to include a minimum loading point and a horizontal test to make sure the roll hoop does not rip away. All of that, of course, being introduced following Zhou Guanyu's crash at Silverstone last season. Cars will also be running bigger mirrors this year to improve visibility. The new mirrors will be 200mm by 60mm, and that is up from the previous version, which measured 150mm by 50mm. It is also worth noting that the minimum car weight will be reduced by 2 kilograms, so that's down from 798 to 796. Could we be set to see paint getting shaved off again every weekend? Looking mostly at you, Williams. There are also changes to the rules to help clear up any confusion around the current penalty system, with the FIA regulations now stating in simple terms that drivers who receive more than 15 cumulative grid penalties or have been asked to start from the back of the grid will start behind any other classified driver. As planned, the cost cap will be reduced for 2023, dropping to $135 million. It is also worth noting that teams will get double the allowance for each of the sprints this year. That's $300,000 per sprint, but there will be no adjustments for accidental damage. In 2023, we'll see trials in 2 areas taking place. First of all, the FIA says that during each of the sprint races this year, DRS will be enabled at the end of the first lap from the race start or after a safety car period, as opposed to at the end of the second lap. If it is decided that it works well, we could see it introduced to races proper from 2024. Why? Well, this is F1, so why not? But also, the idea is to try and keep the field closer together for longer than just the first lap or two. The other trial is around qualifying. What is described as a revised qualifying format will take place at 2 events in 2023. The format will see tyre compounds get mandated for each of the 3 parts of qualifying. And don't forget, 3 is also the number of dry compounds available across a race weekend. Oh yes, it is surprise tyre talk time. Don't mind me, I'm just practicing for the new season. So, in this revised qualifying format, only the hard tyres will be made available for Q1, only the mediums for Q2, and drivers will only be allowed to use the softs in Q3. As well as that, at each of these trials, drivers will only be allocated 11 sets of dry tyres versus the 13 they got last year. And as we're on the subject of tyres, Pirelli have introduced a 6th dry tyre compound for 2023. C0 will be the new name for the old C1 tyre, with the new C1 tyre being a new, grippier compound, meaning the range will now be from the hardest C0 compound to the softest C5 compound, with the C0 expected to be used at tracks like Silverstone, for example. There we have it then. Those are just some of the things you may need to know ahead of the 2023 F1 season and a surprise tyre talk. There are some other changes to the rules, including a reduction of team personnel working hours and some more flexibility when it comes to cooling the fuel, to name just a couple. And if you'd like a little bit more information on those and all the changes I've gone over in this video, then I'll post a couple of links in the description down below for you to go and have a look at. That is it for this one then, but let me know in the comment section down below which launch are you most looking forward to and how excited are you for the next few weeks. That first race in Bahrain is not far away now. Now, I will be back on Tuesday with some reaction to the Haas livery launch. Yes, I'm doing those again this year, or at least I'll do the first few and see how well they're received. But in the meantime, if you did enjoy this one, then please do leave a like, because it really does help the channel out. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.